Welcome to All in One Discussion, the podcast where we discuss everything from movies to shows to music to games to whatever else I feel like talking about. I'm Julian Nevarez, and today I'm sitting with my older brother, Tye. How you doing, Tye?
I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
I'm doing pretty good as well, man. And today, we're going to be spending the bulk of the episode talking about Nintendo and particularly the Nintendo movies coming out. And like particularly the Legend of Zelda movie, which they've recently had some casting announced for and everything like that. And so that's what we're going to really be talking about today, going in depth on our thoughts on the movie and the movies and their announcements, and what would we do if we were in charge of making a Nintendo cinematic universe, and particularly starting with like the Legend of Zelda discussion, as we're both big fans of the series.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So before we get into all that, though, just something I want to start doing on these podcasts in the beginning here was discuss about something recently that we've either watched, played, or listened to that we've really enjoyed, and that we want to shout out and talk about real quick. So what's something that you've really like watched, played, or listened to this week that you feel like people should know about?
You know what? I mean, it counts because it is music. But the thing I want to shout out is that we took our brother Anthony for his 30th birthday to go to the My Chemical Romance concert.
Yes, we did.
For the anniversary of the Black Parade album. And that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Somehow awesome is an understatement.
Yeah. Like, well, first of all, I mean, I'm a huge fan of that album in particular, but I like the band in general. And because it was like a special anniversary concert, they did the whole album front to back,
which was fantastic.
And that in and of itself would have been enough. Like, that was the point of the concert, but like they still had like a little intermission, came back out and did like 8 or 9 more songs from throughout their discography.
A good chunk of songs.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it was great that the three of us got to go together, and it's just one of those albums that we all three really like a lot. So yeah, that would be the highlight of recent things for me, was that we went and did that.
It's definitely a highlight for me as well. I think, like, I don't say this a lot, but that fact, obviously, but that day was like a perfect day, basically, for me. One, just being able to spend the time with the three of us all together. It's been so long since we've been able to do anything all three together, just us.
Yeah.
And for it to go, completely smooth with no random weird drama happening, with like no car issues, no like random other
like
stuff.
The normal curse of our lives didn't they let us have peace this day.
Yeah, so we just got to have just a fantastic day, outside of the fact that you had to seat like 10 seats away from us.
Oh, right. Okay.
But beside that,
yeah. So what helped was that I did take an edible, so I was just by myself vibing.
That's good.
That I like basically wasn't paying attention to the people around me at all. And then my big brother instincts kicked in, and it was the only thing that took me out of the concert at all for a moment, because I was so locked in. There was just a moment where there was like a lot of flashing lights, and I just like glanced over at you guys to make sure like the lights weren't affecting anybody in a particular way. Because random Julian lore drop, when he was really young, he had a seizure once, and so they had told us like the possibilities of having a seizure later in life could possibly be heightened by that. So it's probably just me being overprotective, but that always pops in my brain whenever anything involving flashing lights happens. So as soon as that happened, the first thing I did was look over to make sure, and you guys are just like, You guys are just like having a great time. And I was like, okay, great, everything's good. We're good.
I know exactly the part you're talking about with the red and blue flashing lights.
Yeah.
And they were very intense.
They were really, really intense, and they happened like all throughout. Like they would stop for a while, and then they would start up again, and that was like worse, but like it was fine because it was actually really cool once you're like adjusted to it. But it was like, ooh, my eyes.
No, literally, I turned to Anthony during that, and I was like, this is so awesome, but I think my eyes are permanently damaged. Is what I said to him.
Just seeing blue.
Like, yeah, I was like, it was like, oh my god, it's like, but it was so cool.
But yeah, that's the highlight thing for me recently, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But I will throw something else out there as well that
Sure.
there's a lot of things I've been recently enjoying. But one thing that's been stuck in my mind, and I've been playing its soundtrack on repeat,
Mm.
is I'm sure people have already watched this, but if you haven't, you should. And that's K-pop Demon Hunters. It's a animated film on Netflix by Sony. And yeah, that movie is fantastic. I had way more fun with that than I thought I was going to. I'd heard about it, and I was like, oh, this looks like it could be cool. And it was way better than I anticipated. It just had a really good story. It had amazing animation. The songs were banger after banger after banger.
Banger soundtrack.
And the action was great. Like, every part of it was great.
To be honest, the soundtrack is almost too banger. Like, it's crazy. Because there are movies that are intended... I mean, well, this is intended to be a musical. But there's movies with music associated with them or heavily put into the movies where, like... I don't know, they don't work necessarily as like songs outside of the film. Mm-hmm. And these are songs that work really well in the film as part of the story, and then you can just listen to the soundtrack and they're just like fucking bangers.
Yeah, they literally, like, I think Golden and Your Idol, like, top charts.
Golden's number 2 as of us talking right now on the Hot 100.
Yeah,
because I randomly looked at
and it's still been a minute. Yeah, it's been out for
and it might get to number 1.
Yeah,
because it's just been going up.
And literally, But I literally sing it all the time in my head. I listen to it all the time. I'm at work singing. I've told multiple people at work to go watch it. I've got convinced. See, I've convinced some people to go watch it. And yeah, we talk about it at work a lot of times. Like, oh yeah, what was your favorite song? And I'm like, I don't know. I go between. It's hard. I'm going back and forth in my head. Which one's my favorite?
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah,
and that's a good shout out.
Yeah, so definitely, if you have not checked out K-pop Demon Hunters, you are doing yourself a disservice. Go check it out. It's awesome.
And if at the time of this, My Chemical Romance is still touring, which they should be because I think they're touring in 2026.
Yeah, I was like, we are literally
because next year is actually the real anniversary date, 20 years, which is insane. Since the Black Parade came out, go see them in concert. It's amazing, especially if you love that album. Seeing them do it in character and with all the theatrics of those songs and the story in those songs, and they were like peak form to me. They were great. Like the band, Gerard Way, like they were all giving it, and it wasn't like a half-assed show at all.
And even like I said, what we're talking about, like afterward, and they did some like outside of their, like they did some regular songs from the rest of their discography and not just the Black Parade.
Yeah.
They did a cover.
Yes.
They
did a cover of a Smashing Pumpkins song, Bullet
song.
With Butterfly Wings.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. For some reason, I almost said Vampire Weekend, and I don't know why.
It's because you're thinking of the opening lyric, The world is a vampire.
Yeah, okay, that's why, and I was like, that's not right. But anyways, the cover was fantastic, and they're probably going to switch it up and do different covers here and there, and maybe do that one again. But
yeah, they did mention that that's one they're going to try to slip into multiple shows.
Because I'm pretty sure our show was like the second show or the concert of the tour.
Because the girl that I was next to, she was just talking about how they had just seen them in like Seattle or something.
Yeah, so I know it's really early in their tour. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see this tour live and you're a big fan, definitely try to get in because it was the best thing.
And a tiny like lore drop for me, I was a huge Smashing Pumpkins fan first, obviously, because they came before, and I know that they have influenced My Chemical Romance, so it was like almost like a weird full circle thing of me really liking them and me knowing when I first heard them, like clearly they like Smashing Pumpkins, and me already loving Smashing Pumpkins. To hear them do a cover of that song, like I ascended in that moment. It was really, it was really special to me to like
hit you hard.
Like,
I was like, oh,
let it be really sentimental and cheesy. Like, yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Anyways, so moving on from that, before we get into the big topic again, there's a thing that I was been doing on my channel and on the podcast for a while, my all-in-one alphabet challenge, and I want to kind of restart it and keep it going and do it more and do it again. So, you know, I'm going to start with A's again and go back over, just a quick little explanation of what it is too. So in case you have no idea what I'm talking about here, my all alphabet challenge, where I was going to be each episode, I take a letter of the alphabet in alphabetical order, obviously, and go over a movie, a TV show, a video game, and a musical artist that greatly inspired me in some sort of way. And those are the categories, and to pick the one that inspired me the most. It doesn't necessarily have to be my favorite. Sometimes it will be, sometimes it won't be, but it's something that just left like a really big impact on me in how I am as a person and my creative process, and when I want to write things, or how else I just carry myself, and whatever, so on and so forth. So with that being said, here are my A's, and I have said these before, so I'm going to make it quick. And if you are more interested in in-depth stuff, you can check out my TikTok and some of my other previous podcast episodes and look for them there, because I have gone over it before. But I'll kind of go over them again real quick. A movie that begins with A that really, really inspired me was I picked Akira. I saw that when I was probably in high school, maybe middle school even, and it was just so different than anything I had seen at the time, as far as animation goes, and anime particularly, and it just had such darker moments and themes and things, and it took itself way more serious than a lot of the more goofy or just like unserious anime and other shows and stuff that I had seen. So I don't know, really it just hit me different and inspired me. Obviously inspired a lot of people. Just the Kira bike slide is like an iconic scene that's been used in everything.
Which I want to say, I'm ready to put a moratorium on the Akira slide. We've seen enough of it.
Yeah, it
should have ended with nope. Like, yeah. Kiki Palmer's Akira slide, dope. We could have stopped it there. And I already watched that Tron Ares thing, and that it's been leaked that Jared Leto's character does the Akira slide in that movie too. And I was like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, but of course, like everyone, if there's motorcycles in it, they're gonna do the Akira slide.
But I mean, it's power. It's obviously way more influential than that.
Yes,
but that is just one of those pop culture things where even if you haven't seen Akira,
you know that
you've seen that, and that's what it's from.
But the story of Akira is really, really cool, really, really dark. And it it's inspired me a lot. Well, for instance, just like a quick little inspiration from it, like there's a TV show thing that I've been writing, and I'm not going to talk about that here, but the main character, one of the main characters, I named Akira because I just like that name and I like that movie. So, anyways.
Some say inspired, some say stolen.
It's just the name. Anyways. Next, TV shows. The most influential of the things on this list, probably to me, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender. The best cartoon show ever. One of the best TV shows in general. And yeah, hugely inspirational for me and everything I write and create. It just really did a great job of balancing like characters and story, as well as like a fun and like dynamic world that you want to see more of. Great lore. I mean, it's got great action, it's got great voice acting, it's got everything you could want in a show, but like particularly just the story elements of it, and the like the world especially is what really I draw the most inspiration from. I love its story and its world building and all that. So that show really just like set a bar for me that I want to reach one day with whatever I create. Plus it's got like one of the best redemption arcs in anything. With Zuko, I think he has one of the best redemption arcs in fiction. And yeah, that show is just amazing, and that's why I'm always going to love that world. There's a new show coming out, I think in a year or two. They've been talking about a movie continuing the story, coming out next year, or maybe 2027, the movie. I'm not sure. Either way, love that world so much. Now, a musical artist that greatly influenced me was hard to choose. There's a lot of good artists that I could choose, an artist that I like a lot, but the one I went with is Avril Lavigne. Hugely influential in music in general, but for me particularly was like, I don't know how, it hit me different when I was young, when I was in like middle school, elementary school, and just really helped me get used to and be able to listen to and sing female artists that my friends otherwise would be like weird about, because for some reason, like if you liked a girl artist, that made you like less than or something. Like you can listen to dudes if you're a dude, and I'm like, doesn't make sense. Yeah, it was stupid like elementary school dumb stuff.
Juvenile.
But yeah, but Avril Lavigne was like one of the first ones that I just didn't care if people knew I listened to it or not. Versus like, you know, for some reason, like I was like, oh, I wouldn't let them know I love Britney Spears, even though I did. And then, but eventually I got over that too, and thanks to like Avril Lavigne and a lot of her stuff, like her first 2 albums really deeply like impacted me, and her music since then has been okay, and she's had good moments still, but definitely a lot less currently. But those first 2 albums particularly, were great.
Those songs still hit whenever they come on my playlist, and I still sing them.
Yeah, me too. And last and actually least for my influential video games is Animal Crossing.
Oh,
because I haven't played a lot of games with and Animal Crossing, not gonna lie, didn't really influence me too much on anything, but it was the only thing I could think of that remotely did anything for me. And I'm a huge Nintendo.
It teaches you as an adult how to decorate your house.
I mean, yeah, and it was I do enjoy like a lot of the side stuff in that game, which is pretty much what the game is, like fishing and, you know, collecting bugs and stuff, and it part of plays into what I currently love about games, collectibles and exploring and collecting everything. So there's a little bit of that there, I guess, but also it's just a Nintendo game. It was a lot of fun, and I put a lot of time into those games when the GameCube one, the original, and then the most recent one on the Switch. I put a lot of time into that for like the first couple of months too.
Into the GameCube one for sure.
But yeah, so those are the A's that influenced me the most from my music, TV shows, video games, and movies. How about you?
Okay. Well, first of all, good list.
Thank you.
They all make sense. Especially Avatar.
Yeah.
I don't know why I knew this, but when you said it, I was like, what is he gonna say for A? I literally don't know what he's going to say. Then you're like, Avatar, I was like, duh. Like, of course.
It reminded me, when I was doing this, a little bit of discussion on the previous episode with our brother Anthony, and I talked to him about it. We had gone over this a little bit, and I was trying to guess what his was, and I was like, it's probably also Avatar. But then he was like, well, probably, but he did pick something different. He caught me off guard with it, because he was like, oh, Adventure Time. And I was like, I didn't even register that, but he was a big fan of Adventure Time. But it was just similar thing. It caught me off guard when he said it, but I was like, oh, it completely makes sense. I wonder what yours is.
Well, you won't have to wonder for too long. Well, I'll go in the same order. So, movie, I went with, you know me, this is hard for me.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to narrow things down to like a singular thing because I just overthink way too much, but I don't want to take a million years on this because we got a show to do. So, I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly. I narrowed it down in my heart of hearts. My movie for A is Amadeus. I'm gonna make you watch it one day.
Yes.
It just has themes in it that resonate with me. Not in like a personal way necessarily, but it just fascinates me. Like the idea of success and talent and things that you can work towards doing well and things that you are just born with and have a natural gift, and no matter how much you want to be good at something, sometimes you just won't be. Someone will come along who maybe doesn't have the same respect or idea for this particular craft that you do, but they're just naturally gifted at it. And this is a movie that's very loosely based on a true story about, actual musicians, obviously, like Wolfgang Amadeus, which is what it's named after, and Salieri, and they have this, not even like a rivalry per se. Amadeus is just so musically talented, and Salieri is just so studied, but doesn't have the natural talent, and he recognizes that this person is just more talented than he will be no matter how hard he works. And that's devastating, like, for him and for the plot of the movie. Like, that's a big part of the movie, is just that there's nothing he's going to be able to do to be better than that. His mind just doesn't work that way. He doesn't have the natural gifts that this young dude has. And I don't know, I really like that idea. It's just a thing that I really like, I'm drawn to for whatever reasons. And it's just super well done. It was like a Best Picture winner, as a Best Actor winner, Best Director, Best Screenplay. Like it won a lot of Oscars. And I just love that movie. The craft of it, the way it's made, the acting.
When did it come out?
It came out in the 70s, I believe. But I don't know the exact year. But anyways, yeah, it's great though, and I'm gonna show it to you one day and make you watch it. Okay. So for musician, well, I'll go TV series. For TV series, I had one first, and then I changed it, even though they're actually kind of similar. And one actually did come before the other, but one was actually more impactful. So I'm just going to cheat and kind of say them both. The first one that came to my mind was Animaniacs.
Oh, okay.
Because as a kid, I loved the Animaniacs because
I remember
they were smart and they were smart asses. And they were funny, but they weren't stupid. Like, they act goofy and silly, but they outsmarted everybody around them, and they were most of the time actually smarter than the people around them, and they had great comebacks, and they were just like these really funny sibling characters, and I just really enjoyed that about it. But also the way that this animated series for kids, like, it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of adult in a way. Like, it was, there's kind of more shows and cartoons I feel like now that have that tone, but at the time there weren't a lot like Animaniacs, where they spoof real life people. Like, you know, they take real political figures and they make fun of them in the show. Like, and you kind of subtly as a kid learn about politics and geography. Like, it's a show that weirdly teaches you kind of things, but also is just entertaining and funny.
Like the country song thing was from Animaniacs, right?
And there's a lot of side characters that some of them got their own spin-offs eventually, like Pinky and the Brain. And they were in Animaniacs first. They were like part of the show, because the show would have sort of several mini episodes like within it. There was like several plots. And some of them would be with different side characters and stuff. And so that sense of humor I really liked, and I got something from that. But really a show that was genuinely more influential with its humor and really spoke directly to the type of writing I would probably want to do, as Arrested Development, obviously.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And the writing of that show was just so clever and really sharp and smart. And I love all the double entendres. I love all the callbacks, the ways that they'll set up certain jokes and like episodes and seasons later, they will still circle back around and make like great references to them. And that type of writing for comedy was just something that really inspired me and made me want to write a comedy series of my own.
Yeah, that show, I didn't watch it when it first aired, but eventually I did watch it at some point with you, I think. I think at least I watched it with you. If not, I watched it on my own at some point. But I did really enjoy that show. It's very funny.
I used to own those seasons on DVD, and I would watch them.
I know. I remember watching episodes at least, and then I did at one point like actually sit and watch through it all. Except for like at the time there was originally only 3 seasons.
Yeah, when it was on Fox, there was only 3 seasons.
And then I watched that, and then I watched the 4th season. I don't think I've ever seen the last season, but
yeah, I think there was a few that were put on Netflix. Yeah. I don't think I watched all of them either, to be honest. I think I only watched the 4th.
Yeah, that's the only one I think I watched, the first new one, which was good, but it was the way it was broken up made it like less good.
Yeah,
I feel like, because it was like they had to film it weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, that show, particularly was very funny, and the humor, I understand where you're
and it had like an amazing
smart
cast, and the way that they all worked together, and everybody's comedic timing like had to be different. Funny, they had to be, which is Ron Howard. They had to be really specific to their characters, and it's a great example of writers knowing how to write specific characters. Like, almost no character in that show talks or acts like any other character. They all have very specific personalities and ways of speaking and ways of even just the way that their comedic timing has to be as that character. So they had to have actors who could, do that and have that chemistry with each other and make it work. And so, yeah, that's just a show that just, I think, works on every level. And
Yeah.
I remember at the time when it came out, I hadn't really seen a show that was quite like that. And so that was like really big for me, because I was just like, if I could make a show, I would have made like this show. Like this felt like a show made for me. So that would be like genuinely like inspirational. Musical artist, I went with ABBA.
Oh, okay.
I love ABBA, and I think that they're still influential now in their sound. There's definitely still musical artists like Dua Lipa, who I think still take musical inspiration from ABBA in the sound that they're doing now.
Yeah, I agree.
And some of my all-time favorite songs are ABBA songs. Yeah, if I were to make like a list of my favorite songs, Winner Takes It All would be on that list for sure. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time. I love that song. And I love...
Good. I didn't know that, but interesting.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song. But yeah, they have like a lot of huge songs. Also, that they were like Eurovision Song Contest winners. I think, were they like the first or something? I don't know. But they were like... really early on, if not the first.
And ABBA songs still get used in like things like ABBA definitely has songs that are still used.
But yes, I'm thinking of movies that I'm not even going to reference to you because you don't know what I'm talking about, but that use ABBA songs, and in my mind, like I'm thinking of like specific movie moments too that use it. And then of course, the Mamma Mia movies are literally musicals with ABBA songs.
Yeah.
But anyways. Yeah, I really like that group, and I really like their music. They're still doing stuff now, and yeah, I think that they're influential, and also like, yeah, they're just a musical artist that a group that I still really enjoy, and that I think I can see in other musicians that I like now, and I can hear their influence in their work, and it really stands out to me, like, that, yeah, they still have like an impact on music that's happening today. And even I think sometimes in ways that people don't expect. Like one of Madonna's big songs, Hung Up, like the entire like production of that is an ABBA song.
I did not know that. That's a banger.
Yeah. And so so for video game, this is also my least influential.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious as to what this is. I was like, did you even find one?
Yeah, no, I have one. It's not Animal Crossing. But it was gonna be, and I was like, no, I don't want it to be Animal Crossing. I need to find another one. And then I found one, and I was like, yeah. So this is less influential and more of just, it's a video game that kind of means something to me now, and you're gonna be like, what? But it is Among Us.
Oh, okay. I couldn't think of a single game. I was trying to think of a single game that you would pick. But... So
I've always loved murder. That's a soundbite for you.
Yeah.
Like murder mystery type things. I've always had an affinity for that type of story, detective stories, solving crimes. And so the idea of sometimes you're trying to complete these tasks and run away and try to identify a killer in a group, or you are the killer and you're trying to get away with killing and not being caught. Like, that's enough to get me into it. Like, that's the reason why I ever wanted to play the game. But really why I picked it is because this was a huge game for me, where in the pandemic, when it all began and we were in lockdown, my friend group and I really started to get into playing that as like a weekly thing that we would do.
Nice.
And it was, yeah, just really fun. And it was something that was like a bonding thing. And we still play it now every now and again. Like, it's kind of one of the things that's in rotation, because we do weekly game nights every Thursday, and sometimes we're playing like virtual board games, sometimes we'll play Xbox games, sometimes we'll play Among Us, we'll do Jackbox, whatever. But we still play it because, yeah, it's fun, and they've changed it up. They've added some new features and things to it, and new rules, and
a lot of like different modes, different things like added. Yeah.
And yeah, it's still really fun, and it's one of those games that's a lot more fun when it's a bigger group of people. And there's been times where we've been able to play and get like a really big group of people, where we get like, you know, people outside of our core friend group will get other friends in, and we'll have like a big group that's like 10 plus people. And, you know, you're playing on this big, huge map, and I don't know, it's just, it's really fun, and I still like the thrill of like both hiding from who the killer is and trying to figure it out, but also I love getting to be the killer.
Yeah.
And I love getting to do the killing and trying to do it and not get caught. It's so fun to me. It's so simple, but it's so fun. So yeah, those would be my choices. And I know like some you wouldn't expect necessarily.
No,
but
I don't think I would have guessed a single one of them outside of maybe the TV shows. If I looked at them, I could have maybe gotten there, but the rest I definitely wouldn't. Among Us, though, real quick about it, like that's a game I've only played briefly, but I never had like a big group, and trying to randomly like play online just doesn't work that well. It's not that fun when you just meet up with random people.
It's definitely so much more fun when you're playing with people you know.
I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of people playing it. There's a channel, Disguised Toast, shout out to them, and there's his group of other streamers, and they play, and it's hella funny watching them play. And their mind games too that they play with each other when they're trying to like, pass off, and they're getting the little discussion boots and you're trying to vote someone out. It's always hilarious.
Well, another thing I love about it, because I don't really do it in my actual life much, I love lying in games. Mm-hmm. It's where I get to get all my lying out and also my acting. I'm like, get to put on a performance. I love putting the blame on somebody else and convincing. It's just such a satisfying feeling when you convince a group of people to turn on an innocent person and evict them off the ship when they didn't do shit, and you know it because you're the fucking killer. There are few things in my life that give me as much joy, to be honest with you.
You're vindictive, and I love it.
And petty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
I can be both.
But yeah, anyways, that's very interesting. So we'll continue that in the following episodes that we do here on Go Forth. We'll continue with the Alphabet Challenge. So stay tuned for more episodes and more updates on the All-in-One Alphabet Challenge. But now, let's get into the actual topic here. Let's talk about Nintendo, particularly their movies that they're starting to branch out into and do. So, as of now, there's actually only one movie out, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yeah. Which I quite enjoyed. I thought it was pretty good, better than I anticipated after hearing some of the casting choices. But which are bizarre. Yes. But for the most part, I still really like the movie, and some of the voices really work. And most of them didn't even bother me. So good movie. Sequel in the works somewhere. We don't know anything about that outside of I think it's supposed to come out next year. Could be wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be 2027. Either way, it's in the works somewhere. Don't know anything else about it. And then they're working on a live-action Legend of Zelda series. And that we know a little bit more about right now. It's currently going to be directed by Wes Ball, who did like the Maze Runner trilogy, and then he did the most recent Planet of the Apes movie.
Yes. I was trying to think of what that one was called.
I think it's
The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah. I was trying to think of it. For some reason, I went Empire, but I was like, that's not Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, what? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly who's writing it. I can't remember if they actually have it. I'm sure they have a writer.
It changed writers, I believe, but yeah, I'm not sure either.
And then now we've recently got some actual casting. So they have an official casting of Link and Zelda. Which you have their names because they're pretty much relatively unknown actors.
Yeah, so they had cast as Link Benjamin Evan Answorth, and I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen anything that either of them have done, but he was in The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I have not seen yet.
Yeah, I have not seen.
And he also was the voice of Pinocchio in the Disney live-action Pinocchio, which was horrible.
But I did not watch that either.
And good for you, because it's genuinely terrible. So sorry. None of that is to blame on him. He just does a voice for Pinocchio. But those are the things that I saw that were kind of like, that jumped out at me, that were like higher profile things he's done that people might know him from. Especially Haunting of Bly Manor. I know a lot of people really like that show. And I've been, that's like Mike Flanagan. And I know a lot of people have told me to watch it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I might one day. And then for Zelda, Bo, I believe it's pronounced Bragason, but I'm not sure 100% how to pronounce it. So if I pronounced it wrong, my apologies. She was in a BBC One series called Three Girls and The Jetty. I don't know what that is. And she was also in a Disney Plus show, which I cannot read my own handwriting for, so I don't remember what that's called. But it was also something I never heard of before.
Okay.
So I literally have no clue what she's done, and I've never seen her in anything. But yeah, so they're pretty relatively unknown. Like, they're far from household names.
Yes.
And that's kind of good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty ideal, especially
because
for Link.
I just feel like for either of them really, like, but you know, you're right, especially for Link, because he's such a avatar for the player kind of a character. Like, he doesn't have a lot of character. In some of the more recent ones, they kind of give him more character.
But yeah, he's never
But he
spoken.
was largely like a silent protagonist, and he doesn't really like say anything or express himself in some major way. So like, yeah, part of me does kind of think maybe if they would have like cast somebody really well known or major, it would have kind of been distracting, and it would have made me question what type of movie this is going to be. Because you would assume if they're going to cast some big name actor that they're expecting that this character is going to be. I feel like you're going to project onto that actor what you know them for, that they're going to bring to Link.
Exactly,
and I feel like by it being somebody who's basically more of an unknown actor, like, you're not going to bring that baggage into the movie with you. Because you don't really have anything to go off of. Yeah,
and I think that's really good for a beginning of a, I'm assuming, franchise. I heard that they're aiming for at least a trilogy. I don't know if that's true, but I'm sure that they would want to do more than just the one.
This could potentially be the thing that they're like known for.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it is good.
And you can kind of cast maybe more name people around them.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to, because I mean, at least looking at this casting that they've done for the animated stuff and whatever, they're probably going to want at least some sort of star power appeal to bring in people. Maybe not. I mean, just going off the name of Zelda, I don't know what they're going to do. Actually, Nintendo's hard to read. But with this movie, we're going to go into a little bit of our own casting, as if we were going to make a movie and what we would do for plot. But before we jump into that, I just want to say, I loved Legend of Zelda.
It's my favorite video game series of all time.
It's my favorite video game franchise of all time as well. Yeah. And I'm so nervous for this movie because it's something that doesn't easily translate to a live action movie. And it's not impossible, but it's gonna be nigh impossible to do. It's unfortunate that it's the kind of fantasy type of world where I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for it to look cheap, or for it to look. That's what I'm worried for.
Or for it to just look generic, to look like so many other just sort of fantasy type things that we've had before. Like, it's gonna be reminiscent of like Lord of the Rings, or it's just gonna have a similar aesthetic in some sort of a way. Like, it's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna take somebody with a good eye to kind of like keep it from looking too much like other things that are in a similar vein, like for it to stand out in its own way. And I just think that that's harder to do in live action. And that's why, like, and I've told you this before, I personally have always envisioned it or wanted it to be animated, but like a Studio Ghibli type animation. Like, literally that studio would have been my choice to just make a Zelda movie.
Same.
Like,
yeah, because I mean, watching Princess Mononoke, and it's like, this, but make it Zelda would be amazing.
Yeah. That would have been the ideal way to go for me. I figured it was like long shot that would ever happen. Yeah. And yeah, so going live action, I'm with you. I'm a little nervous about it. I was nervous about this casting. But to be honest, I'm a little less nervous about the casting because I kind of like that they went with people that I can't judge off of anything previously.
Yeah, we just have to
because I haven't really seen them in any of their previous works, and it doesn't look like they were maybe like, the like leads or like had huge roles in those things. So I'm not really sure, but yeah, I mean, at least I don't have that expectation. Like, it would have been weirder to me if it would have been like some big name actors were playing them, because then I would start to wonder what the idea behind this was going to be.
Yeah, like what are they going for? Like if we start feeling kind of cash grabby potentially or something weird like that.
Or, kind of like you said, with the same sort of fears we had with the Super Mario Brothers movie, where it just seemed like they weren't necessarily picking voice actors who were just good for the film. They were just picking names.
Yeah.
That were big names. Like, when you think Mario, you think Chris Pratt. Like, no, you don't.
No, no one did.
You don't. And, he's the weakest, he was the weakest link of the movie for me.
Yeah.
One of them. But, like, yeah, I was worried there was going to be something like that, where it was like, oh, we're just picking a name because we can.
Yeah, we're talking like Tom Holland and this Link, and you're like, what?
Yeah, no, nightmare for me. Yeah. No offense to Tom Holland.
No,
but like that just would have been so bizarre. And I would not be able to see. I would not look at Tom Holland with a fucking green cap on and tights and think, yeah, that's my Link. Like, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. It would be almost impossible for me to like have that separation.
So with this movie, there's obviously like, thoughts of, okay, what game are we adapting? Are we adapting a game? What are we going to do here? And there's a lot of options that they could go with, none of which we really know outside of, obviously they're not doing like the Wind Waker or something. It's not a child. So they're not going to, they're actual like,
they're pretty young, but they're like teenagers.
Yeah. So it's like the typical age of the adult Link.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're definitely doing one of those, but like what game are we drawing inspiration from, or are we just drawing inspiration from the series in general and putting it into a world? Who knows? We'll see. I'm kind of hoping that they do more of that, like kind of create your own thing as if you were starting like a new game sort of, but world, because that's kind of how each iteration of Legend of Zelda works.
Yeah.
It's like a new iteration, a new Hyrule with some new characters, but they're the same.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that they'll do that with the movie, or at least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So that way you don't just try to directly adapt something and it go poorly.
Yeah.
You can just kind of pull things that could work for the movie, and whatever you want to do and go from it there. That's what I would do, and that's what I'm hoping they do. We'll see.
I actually agree with that. I think it's a lot better to just draw inspiration and sort of come up with their own, story that's in the world that maybe uses some of the mythology, but it's kind of mostly doing its own thing. I feel like that would be a better way to go than to just try to directly adapt a game, because to be honest, like, it's my favorite video game series, as I said. I love it, but it's not the most plot heavy game. Like,
definitely not.
There's not like a huge story element, because like we said, Link is mostly silent. Like, there's not even a lot of character for him, and often Zelda's off screen for the majority of the games, and so like you don't have like a huge template to go off of, even character-wise or story, from any of the games.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think there's a world easily, because in my mind, when I was younger and I was imagining the idea of a live-action Zelda movie, in my mind I would have done Ocarina of Time, because that's my favorite. Yeah. But also it's one that I think is enough story that can actually fill a film. Wind Waker too, but Wind Waker, because of its style, it so lends itself to animation that it's hard for me to even imagine that as live action. But like, and that's probably the most story driven of the games. But like, yeah, I just feel like you're right. I think it would be better to just sort of take inspiration from the world and the characters and just sort of do something new, but that just feels like that world.
Like, I do feel like too that I think there's a good chance, and I don't know how I feel about it either way necessarily, but like, obviously Link's classic outfit I feel like probably won't really be in it, or will maybe have an appearance, but they might do more Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, different outfit kind of situation, more just casual look, and something else like that, and not do the classic thing, and then maybe build to that or have them get that at some point. But like, I can see them kind of pulling more from like the newer games that lean a little bit away from that stuff, because it might not work as well. Like, it could look kind of just
because, like I said earlier, it can look cheap, or it can look generic really easily. And I think it'll take an actual good team, and like, we don't know, who does, I don't think we do know who like the cinematographer is, or who, like,
I don't know.
who's going to be doing the production design or the costumes or anything. Like if Wes Ball's going to bring back a lot of his same team that he's worked with on his previous movies, or what's going to happen with that. But yeah, it's going to take good people to keep it from going in that direction of being costumey and actually like feeling like a world, and feel like things people would wear in that world, and not just look like people in costumes.
Yeah. And with that, well, now let's jump into some of our casting. Like, what would we do?
So what was funny was when we first talked about this, they hadn't cast them yet, and then literally like the next day they did.
Yeah, it was pretty like right directly after we had decided to do this, and then they were like, "Cool, we're actually." Gonna cast them
I don't know. I feel like it's safe to say you didn't cast either of these two people in your
definitely
casting.
not,
No.
because I have no idea who they are.
Right. Well, I've casted some people as Lincoln. I don't know who they are.
That's hilarious.
Because it was hard for me to find some casting.
I agree.
Let me tell you what.
And that's why it's going to be...
But there's a few. I'm so curious to see...
My casting is fun. I like to cast things, but it's also, they're notoriously not good.
I do a lot of... I do that too. I do fan casting stuff in my mind. I'm a little delulu, and I feel like I'm actually good at it.
I mean, I feel decent about my choices. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think they were... At least it wouldn't be bad, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But it's also because I don't have the largest knowledge of actors.
So as Link, Elijah Wood.
No, never. Okay, when I was young, I had a thing where I fake cast Elijah Wood in a lot of stuff because I like.
It's just because you like Elijah Wood. You want to see the man get work.
But that was years ago, man.
No, okay.
But
Carl Urban is Ganondorf.
No, never Carl. Yeah. And Michael Cera is the Great Deku Tree.
The Great Deku Tree. Yeah. Yes. Perfect casting.
But I did do a plot for a movie, for a trilogy.
Okay.
And I kind of went out with a general idea of what I would do for them.
Okay, I'm very curious to hear this. We'll do the casting so that I can try to think of these people if I know them. So, as you're talking about this.
Link was hard. And I didn't know who to pick. And I had a couple people, and I was like, so my runner-up, I'm going to say my runner-up real quick. I almost went, but I was just felt like, as much as I enjoy this actor and what he's done, I would like immediately, it would just feel too, like, cheesy or something. Or not cheesy, it's not the right word, but it's too, I don't know, not good somehow. Okay. But that was Tanner Buchanan, who's in Cobra Kai.
I don't know who that is because I don't watch Cobra Kai.
Okay, well, he's in Cobra Kai. He's Johnny Lawrence's son.
Okay.
And I like him, and I'm not mad at the choice for him. But it's also just because all I've seen him is Cobra Kai, and Cobra Kai is a little like kind of over the top, with acting and stuff like that. So part of me is like, I don't know how it would translate seeing him in something else. I think he could be good and stuff. I have never seen him in anything else outside of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But the person I went with is an actor who I've heard name out and I've heard they're good. I don't think I've seen a movie with him in it though. But I was like, why not? So I went with Jacob Tremblay.
Okay.
Because I know I've heard his name. He's a good actor. He's young. He looks like he could look like Link. So, sure. Sounds good to me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not mad at that choice. I don't know. He didn't come up for me in my, and I've seen Jacob Tremblay in several things. Most notably the first thing that he was in, I believe, which was Room with Brie Larson, which you haven't seen, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen like anything he was in.
And I mean, he was a little kid in that, and he was amazing. It's like one of those just really great child performances where you're like, this is a kid who's not just being a kid. This is a kid who somehow gets nuance in how to act. But yeah, he hasn't had a ton of roles. I saw him recently because I saw Life of Chuck. He's also in that. He shows up at the very end. He plays like the young version, but like getting older, like going into like high school to college or whatever. So yeah, he's in that age range.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor. I can kind of see that. I don't think that's like crazy.
No, so I felt decent about that choice.
Listen. It was tough for me too. So
all right.
I'm with you.
So Zelda is one that's hard. Okay, there's a lot of potential options.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people throwing around names like Hunter Schafer, you
Right.
know, and I'm like, good option, but do I want to go with that option? No. I don't know. Actually, I'm not very, like, I don't know where I want to go. Honestly, I didn't know. At one point, I put Millie Bobby Brown down, and then I'm like, nah. And then the person I landed on is Millie Alcock, who's going to be Supergirl, and she was in House of Dragon.
Right.
Why not? She looks good. She's a good actress. From
So
what
what
I've
are
seen.
the age? What are the
She could play that age, like young, like, you know.
How old is she though? Actually,
I don't know.
I guess she could look like she's because Jacob Tremblay still looks young.
They're both gonna be like teens, and if she's a little bit older looking, that's fine. Like,
Okay.
I don't mind that, but they're still supposed to be pretty young, like in their teens.
Well, no, I just meant like for your story,
Yeah.
are they meant to be similar age or like?
They're supposed to be pretty similar in age.
Okay.
But I mean, I know he is pretty young. He's like 18 years old in real life. She's playing like teenagers and stuff.
Sure.
So it could work. All right. Now, Ganondorf.
Okay.
Ganondorf was another one that was hard.
All right.
Because there's a lot of different ways we can go. And a common name I've seen people throw around is like Idris Elba. And I like Idris Elba too, but he's not who I want. So I was like, you know, do I want like an older actor, or like where do I want to go age? Because he could be older on the older side in some iterations, but some iterations he's like, you know, not young, but you know, he's a little less old.
Mm-hmm.
At one point I thought of like Tremel Tillman from Severance.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't know if he could pull off like
Mr. Milkshake.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I could see him do like a role. Like, he could probably do it and be fine, but I was like, I don't know. There's something about it that's just not sitting right with me.
Mm-hmm.
A person that I thought like, I was like, oh, they have the body and the look, kind of, was like Kumail Nanjiani. But I couldn't see him acting like that. I mean, me not laugh and like think it was ridiculous.
I'm almost laughing.
Yeah. But I mean, he's tall. He's got the look.
Was not expecting you to say Kumail Nanjiani.
He looks like I'm like I could see him like put him in, make him green, and the guy with red hair, and he could look like him.
For sure.
But yeah, obviously, just like his voice and how he delivers lines and everything, I was like, obviously not a good pick. So who I went with is, and I might mispronounce his name, but I went with Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
Okay.
He is in the Watchmen series on HBO Max, and he's also going to be Wonder Man coming up in the MCU, and he was Black Manta, I think, in the Aquaman movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good actor, especially because the thing I'm going off of the most was Watchmen. I've seen him, and he's really good in that. I think he's got the look. I think he's got like the physique. Yeah, and I think he's a good choice for Ganondorf. He's who I would want to be him at this point in time. So yeah, that's where I went with the main three. Now I did cast some other people, so I'm going to go over them really quickly. Okay. So Impa is another important character, typically an older woman, an advisor and mentor for Zelda. So I went with good old Michelle Yeoh.
Okay.
King Hyrule, Sean Bean.
Of course.
And spoilers, they will be dying in the movie. Because Sean Bean can't be in a movie without dying. I did some sages people, so like Roru, the old sage, you remember Ocarina of Time,
you
Sage
cast
of Light.
Way more people than I
Yeah,
do.
I know. I'm gonna go over them quickly. So Roru, Sage of Light, I'm gonna have some of these sages in it. They're slightly different than like Ocarina of Time, but anyways, they're gonna be in it. So him, I was thinking like a David Thewlis, Soraya maybe, but like it would probably just be some sort of unknown child actress because she's a little kid. Darunia, I'm thinking like a Vincent D'Onofrio. Princess Rudo, maybe like a Nico Parker. Noboru, like a Zazie Beetz, and just for fun, you know Russell, he's like the mentor of Link in Twilight Princess from the village that trains him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, keep this character involved, and of course throw in everything, everybody's favorite, Pedro Pascal, because you gotta have a little Pedro,
for sure.
And then Tingle can be no other than Jolo Truglio. Like, tell me, there's a better pick for Tingle. Like, I don't know.
I have a better pick actually.
Okay, well, we'll see. But I think that's pretty good. All right.
But that is good. I actually... It's so funny.
I think it would be hilarious, and
Yes, Jolo Trulio. Perf.
Yes. So I'm gonna go over my plot real quick, and then we'll go over to yours.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Link from a small town, his mentor Russell training him. They go on a delivery of sorts where they're delivering goods to the castle, to the capital. They go there. We get to Hyrule Castle. Ganondorf's there doing some sort of treaty with the king and stuff. He betrays them, kills the king, conquers the thing. Things go to shit. They have to escape. Russell gives himself up in order to save Link and Zelda, who are able to get out, but the rest are people are captured. So Link ends up with the princess, escaped from Ganondorf's conquering of this castle and his conquest of Hyrule, and they run to somewhere that Zelda knows it would be safe. So they go to Kakariko Village, where Impa's there, who's a mentor and advisor for her. So she go there to get advice, to figure out what they should do. She tells them about the Master Sword and the lore of this chosen, sword and stuff that can stop the evil and whatnot. So, then from that point, Link would go to the Deku Forest by himself, to the Lost Woods, get introduced to the Sage of Soraya, Deku Tree, get the Master Sword. Basically, in this version of the lore, the sages would have to bestow power to the sword, and you have to get to all 7 sages to bestow the power to get the sword to the max power to be able to stop Ganondorf, to awaken it.
Mm-hmm.
But while he's there, Ganondorf's people attack the village and get Zelda, and he gets back. Impa's dying, uses her sage power on the sword, dies, and he has to go save Zelda at the end and figure out that he has to go save Zelda. So something along that would be the plot of the first movie.
Okay.
But the thing is, in the second movie, then Zelda would get free without them knowing. That they use some other girl to pretend it's Zelda in captivity, so Ganondorf doesn't know she's escaped, and we'd have her as Sheik.
So some sort of Padme Amidala situation.
Yes. Sheik Zelda situation, Ocarina of Time kind of status. She comes still to help Link. And then you'd continue to other places to get more power. You'd go to Goron, Death Mountain, and the Lake Hylia, and those things. And then the final movie would be the final part of this journey, where they go to eventually to the Gerudo Desert, and you get the sage there, Nabooru. Some Gerudo that have turned on Ganondorf and our team, and then final battle with Ganondorf. So I didn't fully plot these out. Obviously, just a quick little thing how I'd break it up. Each movie, do a couple sages, make progress against Ganondorf as Ganondorf is continuing his schemes to conquer all of Hyrule and get the Triforce, so he can gather a wish. That would be part of the lore too, trying to bring together the piece of the Triforce. Zelda has one, and then finds out Link has the other, but he doesn't know, because no one knows who Link is at this time until probably during that first movie. And then they become enemies. And then so you'd go through those movies like that, as Link is powering up his sword, trying to protect the princess, or save the princess, save Hyrule, but also found a way to get Zelda out of captivity and around so she could be in the movies. And, have the Sheikah thing, have the Sheik and the sages and stuff like that. So bring in some lore from the games, tingle somewhere in there for funny reasons and comedy relief at some point. But yeah, that's my general plot.
Okay.
Like I said, nothing crazy, just your typical kind of thing. I just that's why I cast those other characters in my head. I'm oh cool, we can have sages and stuff, and it'd be fun to see Vincent D'Onofrio as a Goron.
Sure.
Anyways,
the role he was born to play.
So what about you? What's your casting looking like?
Well, again, I did not go as thorough on this as you did, and that's fine, because I just was not able to think of it like that.
Yeah, you don't have to.
It was so... The casting alone was so hard.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
I prefer the casting they did, sight unseen, just because I don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
The casting I actually did, already, everyone is actors I personally already know too well, but that I thought for who they are and what they can do, that they would do well in these roles, though. So for Link and Zelda, because I had such a hard time, I actually had 3 for each of them. And I'll just tell you who would probably be the number 1 pick for me. For Link, I went with this actor, Charlie Plummer, who was in this movie, Lean on Pete. He was also in this movie, All the Money in the World, which was that movie that famously erased Kevin Spacey and replaced him with Christopher Plummer. And then Christopher Plummer got an Oscar nomination for it. King shit.
Okay, this person, I don't know who they are, but they definitely have a Link-like look.
So the other 2 are actors I don't even really know. I just was looking at actors for visually kind of giving Link, and so they don't even matter because I wouldn't pick them because I don't know them. I would end up picking him just because I've seen him in things and I actually know that he is a good actor. But the thing I really like about him and why I think he would be good for a Link is because, especially in a film like Lean on Pete, it's a movie where his character is so much more reactionary to things. He's kind of a more passive protagonist. Like, in that movie, the side characters are kind of more important and they push the story along. His character is a lot more internal, and a lot of his performance has to be showing you how he's feeling and thinking of things inside rather than actually speaking them out. So I know he's good at doing that. The other thing is, I don't know. I just feel like he would be good at portraying Link in a way that if they wanted to keep him still more of a silent character, he can give him enough stuff that, like,
he can do it.
You can understand. He would give him feeling without having to, like, make him be a big personality or something.
That was something that the reason why I didn't pick Tanner Buchanan is because I feel like he'd end up falling into the trope of, like, the annoying Link kind of like not like
excuse
not even like that necessarily, but like a talk, like he would be like a talkative, or like, like they would have the give him more lines and make him feel more. Yeah, oh my god. But like they would give him lines and have him be like some like weird kind of weird teen talkative Link that I would end up ultimately not liking. So
for Zelda, so I did have Hunter Schafer on my list because I just can't deny that she looks exactly like Zelda.
No, she does look. I when the pictures were there and I was seeing them, I was like, no, she looks.
And also, she's a great actress.
She is.
But I would actually probably, just to sort of match Charlie Plummer in energy and look and whatever, I chose Kaylee Spaney, who was in Alien Romulus, and she was in Priscilla, and she won the Volpe Cup at Venice for Best Actress for Priscilla. She's the one who a lot of people were like, she should have played Ellie because she looks exactly like her.
She does kind of like Ellie.
She was also... she does. You've seen her in this. She was in Kirsten Dunst, that movie.
I was like, she was in Kirsten Dunst?
Civil War. She was in Civil War.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think she could play Zelda, for sure.
But I just see her as being... she has that sort of quality to her of... I don't know, she looks young, but she's fairly young, but like she has kind of a young look to her, but also, I don't know, I feel like in that elfin kind of a way, like she already could sort of fit that kind of a vibe. And I just think age-wise, she kind of matches sort of like Charlie Plummer a little bit of like their look. Like I could buy them together in that world.
That's why I picked Malika, because the House of the Dragons, seeing her in that kind of in a fantasy setting already. Yeah. I was like, my head is like, oh, I could picture that transitioning to other fantasy setting. So
then for Ganondorf, I picked Morgan Spector, who is in The Gilded Age with Carrie Coon and the HBO show. And he was in that movie that I just saw that one day that I was telling you about. That movie with those that's about that gay couple trying to adopt a child and they go to Italy or whatever. Yeah, I Don't Understand You. There we go. That's what the movie's called. See, he has what I need Ganondorf to have, which is a strong nose. He has the Ganondorf nose. Like, he wouldn't even need prosthetics. I just like his nose as is, and I think he has a Ganondorf vibe and look to him, but I've seen him play kind of like rough sort of characters, but also he's a good actor. So I feel like he would be able to bring like more to the role than just like that, like one-dimensional villainy. Like he can add other layers to it, and I feel like if they wanted him to even be a little charming, a little like because I feel like that's part of it is like, especially in Ocarina of Time, you see that he's a little charming, like he's not just a villain. Like I feel like he can do that. For Impa, I didn't go too much older actually.
There is younger versions of Impas, obviously.
I went with
stuff.
Isa Gonzalez. You've also seen her and stuff for sure. But I just watched her. She was in that movie Ash, the Flying Lotus movie I was telling you about.
She's in Baby Driver.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen her. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I like her too.
And then I didn't cast anybody else. I stopped at those 4 because it was already too fucking hard.
I will say your Ganondorf choice is really great. I really like it, and it's one that it's a person that I was basically looking for. I couldn't find anybody that was like fitting what I wanted.
Yeah. And it's only because I've really started to see him in some more stuff recently. And so what's funny is when I first saw him, I was like, if they ever did a live-action Ganondorf, he like kind of really fits that. So he was already in my mind. He was like literally the first person I cast when I thought of this. He was already in my mind as who I would pick for Ganondorf.
Like also just the picture I saw of him, like the facial hair, even the hair, the body, everything, the face, everything. Yeah,
he gives Ganondorf.
Yeah, the person I almost picked, low-key, well not almost picked, but I was like on my short list at one point just because I feel like they fit something I liked about it was Dev Patel. But
okay,
way too young. But I was like, no, he doesn't have to be. But I don't know. I liked him still for that too.
Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know about plot, but I didn't come up with one to be honest with you. But like I would do something like what you did, where you would take sort of elements that are well known from the franchise and just craft a story that can be spread out over a trilogy, or I mean, because it's pretty easy to make it into that, like, because your version I feel like was kind of going the Lord of the Rings route, where it would almost be like a to be continued into the next one, because literally the journey is not done. Like it doesn't really have like a beginning, middle, end per se. Like there's still more to happen. I kind of like that. I kind of think that works for this sort of a world. So I like the idea of that, and including the sages and all that, because I would want to include, of course, like there's all these different lands and things to see, and a lot of different visual opportunities, and opportunities for different creatures and different sort of like worlds within the world.
Yeah, and that's why I put the sages in there. My plot was because it was a reason for you to go places where these these other races and stuff were.
Right.
And so getting some of those classic Zelda races,
it would make it natural to the story, but also like show what the game is about, and get to showcase the things that the fans want to see from the games without having to literally be the game. So I would just adapt your story.
Thank you. And I think that would be a really good way to go about it. Now, I also tasked us a little bit of wanted to talk about a Nintendo cinematic universe, if you will. And how we would go about doing that, or if you would want to go about doing that. What did you do for this? What did you think up here? Because I have an interesting idea, and I'm curious to see what yours is first.
Again, I feel like you've thought this through way more than me, because I have not. But like,
that's fair.
It's so difficult for me, because they've already started it off animated with Super Mario World. Yeah. And then they're going live action for Zelda. So like, they're not doing a shared universe type thing, like a Marvel type thing, right? Where there were already some people that were joking around and kind of speculating, like, are all the movies going to be animated? Are we eventually going to get like a Smash Brothers type movie, which is silly? And like, they could, but I'd be like, what's the plot? But like, the way that they're doing it is it seems like they're kind of trying to do a mix of both. Like, what things lend themselves to animation more, even though I still think Legend of Zelda actually better lends itself to animation. I get why people want to make it live action. I understand why people want to go to that. But because of that, it just, there's no, it doesn't have that same kind of like MCU type feel. It's more DCU type feel of like, whatever the story demands is what it is, and it's not necessarily canon with everything else. Like, this isn't a shared universe per se. Yeah. I like that more. All I know is when we were thinking about it and I was trying to think of like where would I go next or what things would I do, and if there were anything that like I would kind of try to build towards, perhaps. I don't know that I would build toward things in that kind of MCU shared universe type of way, but I don't know why, I think the easy answer is like a Metroid movie. I would go Star Fox. I really want to see a Star Fox movie, and I would do live action. I would not do animated.
Interesting.
I would do Star Fox as a live action movie. I would do it where the characters are, yes, they're fully
like cats,
makeup,
right?
Costume people. No.
Like the movie Cats. They look terrible.
So this has been a good pod, and we'll see you next episode.
Anyways.
No, bro, but more of like I know you didn't like love this movie, but like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, like the way Jonathan the bird looked.
Yeah.
Like how they have like practical costumes for these creatures. Like, but you can do something like that where like it's a makeup effect.
Yeah, Stars Warrior kind of look.
Yeah, where it's a makeup, prosthetics, costume look, and it's real people, it's real actors in those roles, and they can even be somewhat name actors, but they're playing Fox, they're playing Falco.
Who would you cast?
They're not. I don't know.
Give me a Fox.
No, and they're not Michael Cera, and they're not like. Don't put me on the. Don't put me on the. Oh no! I forgot. Hold on. Wait. Rewind. We're gonna go back real quick to Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
My tingle would be Bobby Lee from Matt TV.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great one too. That's a great one too.
Shout out Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
But anyways,
a really good one as well.
But no, I don't know. I wasn't really, to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about like the casting. I feel like I would cast them young because I would kind of want them to be like almost like Top Gun.
Yeah, but they're
space.
Yeah, but they're animals.
Animal people. Yeah. So I don't know. I would probably go kind of younger, and I would probably go kind of that route of like who are sort of like hotter young stars, like fucking Dylan O'Brien or something is playing Fox. And like,
do you have like a director that you feel like could do this movie?
I think it
would be kind of different than anything we'd seen.
I think I would have a better idea of director than actors.
I know you're good with that, so.
You know who would actually do a really good job? I just don't think they literally would do it. But based off of what I've seen them do, and I'm biased because he's like one of my favorite directors. But Alfonso Cuarón, I think, would do a really good job. He did my favorite Harry Potter. He did Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. He did A Little Princess. He's really good at doing fantasy and kid friendly, but also like having actual stakes and darkness naturally in it. And I feel like that would be good for this type of world. But also a thing that he does as a director, and I think it's evident in Prisoner of Azkaban, and what made that stand out so much, especially from the first two, is he's very good at like making a really lived in feeling world where there's stuff constantly happening in the backgrounds. Like there's so many shots in Prisoner of Azkaban where the main characters are doing something or the camera's moving around a space and there's constantly things happening in the background and you're seeing more of the world and people within it. Like he's good at creating like a sense of what this place is. And I think when you're doing a big fantasy world like that, you need somebody who can bring it to life, make it feel vivid, make it feel lived in, and not just like another generic fantasy world. Like you need a director who has a good handle on actually making it feel like a tangible place you could go to or want to be in. Of course, another name that would come to mind is like James Cameron, but like he's going to be busy with avatars until he dies.
What about like a Brad Bird?
Well, yes and no. I like Brad Bird, but like,
I mean, he's in animated stuff, and I know it's not animated, but then he's also done like Mission Impossible.
He did do Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I like, but he also did that Tomorrowland movie, which wasn't as great. So, and that's kind of a sci-fi world building thing where I just kind of think he just didn't really like work. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, he could potentially be somebody. But yeah, it would be somebody who has a ability to really bring that kind of a world to life, though.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of where I would go. I don't know who I would cast. Like I said, literally,
Yeah.
like fucking, I don't know, Dylan O'Brien or somebody would be in there. Like it would be somebody like that who's kind of like it people of right now. And like people who are like, yeah, just like popular, like it doesn't matter, like that are decent actors, but are like kind of young and can sort of play that type of character. And also as it goes, they can kind of mature and get a little older as it goes. Like, because I think that I've liked that world. I think it's a fun world, and I think those are fun characters. That's where I would go, because I would like to make that a series. Yeah. So that's why I would kind of try to get the first one in there early. But I feel like most of these Nintendo things could be like series.
Yeah. For sure. And did you have any other ones in mind, or was that
obviously Metroid?
Yeah. Okay.
Like Metroid seems like one that's definitely coming. Yeah. And I feel like in real life is probably coming next.
And it's probably one that I think has the highest chance of being good in theory. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it's not like a hard concept to adapt. I mean, that's why I say it could be best.
No, but it is one that I do feel like can be seen too much like other things that exist. Like, obviously, a good point of comparison would be like Alien.
Yeah, that's true.
So like they would need somebody who has a strong vision, who can like make this world stand out as its own thing. So, and not be too much like other things.
With that being said, I'm gonna go. Are you done with yours for now, or do you have more?
No, I'm basically done. Okay. Yeah.
So for mine, I definitely did a little more thorough. So, obviously we had this Mario movie. I think the second one comes out before Zelda's supposed to come out. Sure it's working on it already.
Almost positive. Yeah.
And that, I'm hoping. Obviously they hint at Yoshi, but I'm hoping we get like Wario and Daisy and Waluigi and stuff introduced at some point, so that'd be cool, hopefully. Then we get the Zelda movie as I described. Then I do like an animated Kirby movie.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Kirby is a very popular character. It would be adapted well into an animated fun movie in theory, along the same veins as the Mario. So you get a lot of the same fans and stuff going into that. Then
Kirby would be Michael Cera.
No, I have no idea who would be Kirby. I don't know. Kirby doesn't like talk a lot. There's a cartoon show I think where Kirby talks about. But as far as I know, I don't know anything about Kirby. I don't know who you'd get to voice Kirby.
Sure,
I don't care. But then we jump into Metroid.
Okay. Are you doing animated or live action?
Live action Metroid.
Yeah.
I think Florence Pugh is the perfect actress to play Samus Aran at this point in time.
I would probably agree.
And yeah, for directors, I put like maybe a Ridley Scott, someone similar, or like a. I put this person down. I'm gonna say their name, and I already forgot what I looked up that they've made. That made me want to put them on here. But like Joseph Kosinski.
Oh yeah, he did Top Gun Maverick.
Okay,
and he just recently did F1.
All right. So those are the people I put on there for potential directors for like a live action Metroid. What we do there, I don't know, but I think that Florence Pugh would be a great actress, and I can just see her embodying Samus really well.
No, yeah, that makes sense to me. I could see that,
and she can act really well with very little. Like even in say Thunderbolts, like for instance, with some of the more most recent thing I've seen her in, she can give so much with just looks. And obviously a lot of Metroid in game at least, she's alone and would have to just be doing that, a lot of just reactions and face and showing motions and stuff without really talking or having other people to interact with too much. So that's something I think she could really do well at.
Midsommar, which you'll probably never watch.
Yeah, probably not. So then I'm jumping into a show. That would be the next thing.
Okay,
would be a show.
So you've got series.
A Pokemon live action TV show. There was supposed to be one for Netflix, and then I don't think it's ever.
Did you see their little stop motion thing they did?
Yes, it looks cool. I like it.
You watched it?
I don't think it's out.
It is.
Oh, what the not the new one, the one that's like
the little 4-episode thing.
Oh,
whatever it was.
I haven't finished
The little hotel.
Yeah, I've seen part of that, but no, they recently announced
resort or whatever.
they're doing another animated thing that's like Wallace and Gromit Studios doing it.
Okay, yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, not that. No.
And then they're also doing more episodes of the Pokemon.
No, that one where they're like felt or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was really cute.
I haven't finished it, but it was really cute, and they are doing more episodes of that too, which I'm excited for.
But a live action Pokemon thing.
Yes.
Like not Hey You Pikachu. Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, but like, a live action show, because I think a live action movie that's not like based off something else, you can't really go through a game. Like, you can't get a character to go from, I don't know what the plot would be of a live action movie. It wouldn't be able to really be based off the games. Where a show, you can go from a Pokemon trainer's journey to become the champion from the jump through a series. Obviously, like, the young kids would be brand new people, but like Professor Oak, I have like, let's go with like a Mark Hamill, Brock, Charles Melton, Misty, Sadie Sink, Lieutenant Surge, Anthony Starr.
This is wild.
And that's as far as I got, because that's all that would be. I did Giovanni too, and Giovanni. So I'm thinking either Jeremy Renner or Frank Grillo. Alright. That's where we're going. Frank Grillo gives off just too villainy, where Jeremy Renner is like more subtle. Could be more subtle, because like you look at Frank Grillo and you go, this guy is not to be trusted. But Giovanni's an established and liked trainer at first, and is the mob boss behind the scenes. So Jeremy Renner, I think, could be good.
Sure.
Yeah, I like to have fun with these.
Alright.
Anyway, so that would be fun series. And then Star Fox, but mine would be animated in my head.
Is Ryan Reynolds going to return as Pikachu?
No, I hate that. Okay, I hated that so much. And I would never do that.
I love that.
I did enjoy it. Detective Pikachu had some cool moments, but I hated Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu.
Let's move on.
Star Fox animated thing. I put like Brad Bird as my thing, or like a Rich Moore who did Zootopia and stuff. So, and then
animals.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah.
And then we'd have the end of the cinematic of this first phase, which would be a Smash Bros. Movie. Now,
of course,
how does this work?
Yeah, how does it work?
What you say is, what I say is rather, it's they all the characters get pulled out of their respective universes, into the Smash Bros. Universe.
Sure.
Which would be animated differently, have its own style, its own look, and the characters that voiced them or played them would voice them in this animated Smash Bros. Movie.
So all returning cast, just new look.
Yeah, new look, but and basically
new look, same great taste.
Yeah, and then what they would happen was basically at the end when they go back to their worlds, they forget that they were ever there. But every time they come back, they remember.
Wow. Okay, so that's a good like sort of plot cheat.
So they can keep doing the movies without this affecting them.
That's a good cheat of not having to keep everything tied into this.
So it's cheating, but it could work for
it'd be like in the MCU if all the Avengers movies had nothing to do with everything else.
Yes, and then they're pulled into this, they remember that they're, and when they come back for the sequels or whatever, they will re-remember these things, but when they leave and go back to their own world, they have no memory of any of those events that happened there. And then you'd get people like the villain stuff would be like Ganondorf and Bowser and stuff, with some sort of other villain character like Master Hand or something who's bringing them together to use and destroy them all or something, and they team up. But that way you have all the main cast from at least the original Smash Bros. That's why I had all the movies were based off of of characters that existed in their first
Whose
Smash
hand
Bros.
Do you want to play Master Hand?
Obviously Glenn Howerton. I don't know.
You said that like that's actually for sure the casting you thought about.
No, I just literally thought
which
think of a name fast.
Absolutely wild, and for some reason I saw the vision.
Yeah, and Crazy Hand too. Like, yeah,
I was like, okay, now we're cooking.
But then in that movie, you'd get introduced.
I support Glenn Howerton as Master Hand. I'm crazy.
You would get introduced to Captain Falcon and Ness in the movie, but like they wouldn't have their own thing. But then in the next phase, you'd get like an F-Zero live action, played by Bradley Cooper.
Okay, interesting. So interesting. All right. You'd get to see these characters in this world before you actually see them in their own worlds and their own things. Got you. And you said, who is Bradley Cooper now?
Captain Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Why not?
Why not?
I think so. Yeah, sure. I go with it. Falcon. All right, but that would be
The Coops.
That's my Nintendo Cinematic Universe.
Yours is more of a cinematic universe, and mine is sort of like one other film.
But I thought it would be cool to do something like that where,
in theory, I like the Smash Bros thing. I do, but see, that was a
unique way to do it without doing it.
Because that was my issue. Was how make it make sense, and you didn't, but you made it work.
Yeah, it works. It
works enough for this, and I kind of like that. Where like the Smash Bros. Series is almost just a series unto itself that actually kind of has nothing to do with everything else.
Yeah,
and it's just like they got pulled into. Sure, works for me.
Yeah, and it'd be fun because that's what those movies are. Without having to have like a plot that continued into things, or how is this going to affect the Mario and Zelda shows or movies going forward and stuff, just destroys them. It's like, no, this won't at all. Doesn't matter where they're at or where they just get pulled in, yoink, boop, move on, get put back. They didn't have no idea. You never know.
And so like the live action Zelda people would just voice their gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So Florence Pugh is Samus.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's how I would do it, and I think that could be pretty cool.
And once again, I would just be like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna co-sign your universe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I certainly couldn't think one through.
So that's our discussion on Nintendo Cinematic Universe and what we hope that they do with the Zelda movie and what we would do with our cinematic universes. But before we wrap this episode up,
well, I wanted to say though real quick before you do that though, like,
go ahead.
With the Nintendo stuff and everything, like, are you feeling positive about just that it's happening the way that it is right now? Because obviously, like they did one other thing before, which was the live action Super Mario Brothers movie. It was so terrible that Nintendo was like, we'll never license our properties for movies again. Mm-hmm. And it took all the way till now for them to finally do something again. Like, and it seems like they're very invested in wanting to actually make movies right
now. The thing is that, so I enjoyed the Mario movie, so that's good. So hopefully they continue to do more. Yeah. Yes. the animated one. And so hopefully they continue to do good. I like that they're actively involved. Like I know Shigeru Miyamoto's actually working with the people working.
I was going to say that's kind of the big difference now is that Nintendo's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to have a lot more say in this.
They've definitely always handled the series of Legend of Zelda. Well, not always, but lately, like, since for a long time now, they've done really, really good with the Legend of Zelda series and respecting it and what it is. So I don't think that they're going to want to make something that's terrible. No, it can still turn out bad for sure, but I think there's going to be at least a lot of passion, and at least it's going to stay true to the key elements of what the series is and not do anything distasteful.
And like we were looking into sort of, the whole idea of this, and Wes Ball himself saying that he's like a really big fan of the franchise and of the series, and he really wants, to make something good. Like, obviously, when you're somebody who really loves something, obviously you're not going into it wanting to make something bad. You don't want to be the person who fucked it up, especially if you're a fan. You want to, go to Comic-Con or whatever the hell and see people be happy about what you're showing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to be hopeful.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always going to err on the side of caution because
video game adaptations
in general we've had so few that have been even decent.
And just because they've done a decent animated film doesn't mean that Nintendo has any idea what they're doing with movies in general. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So like
so we'll see. We don't have a lot to go off of yet. We just have the one movie. But I mean I know you're more of an optimistic person when it comes to these kind of things. So
I try to be, for sure. And we both are, but I love Nintendo so much.
Yeah.
They're just a major part of my
entire
existence.
These things to be good. Yeah.
And I want nothing more for them. And I know I've heard recently that they're developing also like a Donkey Kong movie now, which makes sense, especially with Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out and it being, really well received and successful. And it's also just an amazing game with a lot of fun and like a interesting dynamic already.
Well, and there used to be, like Mario, there was a Donkey Kong animated series.
Yeah, which
it makes sense
enjoyed.
That they would
funny.
That would be one of the ones that they would prioritize. Yeah, sure.
The weird thing is, if it's the same Donkey Kong, it's Seth Rogen, which is weird. So
it almost surely will be.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see where it goes. Right. I will say, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm definitely looking. I'm just curious to see what they announce more. Like what is their plans for the next
I think they're
ones?
off to a good start in that the Super Mario Brothers movie made, over $1 billion. It was a huge success, obviously. It was not the best received movie, but I mean, by fans, I would say it was pretty well received. Critics were not as kind, but I think the fans who went in with relatively low expectations, they felt like they handled it well. There was a lot of Easter eggs, there's a lot of fan servicey stuff for better or worse, but I think that they're on the right. They took a good first step.
Yeah, and the fact that the second one hasn't already come out means that they're taking time with it, at least. Like, I mean, movies take time, but
they didn't
it wasn't
rush
rushed to be the second one. Like, oh, just get a sequel out as fast as we can. Like, so they are definitely taking it seriously and approaching their materials. Like, they're not just going to be loosey goosey with their stuff. So hopefully it turns out.
You're overall you're an optimist.
It's kind of why I think the live action Pokemon show that they announced never saw anymore, because I just don't think that it was probably really hard to execute or even get off the ground after initially like coming up with that idea, because it's like, how do you do that without like an insane budget?
I think the Zelda movie though is going to be a pretty big test.
Yeah.
Of
and that's a big part of it too that we've been talking about, is like, what's the budget for this? Because it's going to need to be really smart with their budget. It's probably another good reason to go with relatively unknown actors, so you don't have to spend money on the actors, and you can spend money on the effects of the movie, the sets, the costumes, the CGI, whatever else you got to do. Anyways, before we end the episode, let's give us a quick little moment here to talk about something that we're both are individually looking forward to that's coming out within the soon, that we're looking forward to, either a movie, a show, music, or a video game of some sort. So I'll go ahead and let you talk about something.
Something I'm looking forward to that's coming up. Let's see. There's a lot of things. I'm really looking forward to there's some movies coming up. I know you're not a big horror fan, but there's a few horror films coming up that I'm really looking forward to. One of them is the movie Together with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about it since it was at Sundance, and it had really good reviews from that, and now it's finally going to be out in theaters, and I really want to see that. I'm curious about it, and I think the premise sounds interesting. It's like a metaphor for like a codependent couple.
Yeah, it looked interesting-ish. It's not one that I'll say I'll never watch, like that movie Weapon.
So then the other one I was going to say is Weapons.
Weapons.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
I've heard some good reviews already for it, but
I'm
steer clear of that.
And I'm the trailers I really enjoy, and it just looks like it's going to have a really good atmosphere about it. And for me, like, that's the big thing with horror. Like, I'm not a big jump scare or whatever type person. Like, I don't know, horror movies, they don't necessarily quote unquote scare me in that way. For me, it's more about like, can they create like a good sense of dread and a good atmosphere about them that like pulls you into that mindset and that kind of a story. And at least when I look at the trailer and stuff for Weapons, it seems like the kind of movie that's gonna do that. So I'm looking forward to those, and I'm gonna try to see them.
Nice.
Probably this coming week.
Nice. So I'm trying to think of something that I'm like really looking forward to, and there's nothing that's jumping out to me immediately, but two things that at least I know I am looking forward to are both video games. Because I've got my Switch 2 and I love it, but there's only really 2 games for it that are of any note right now, which are Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, and they're both a lot of fun, but definitely looking forward to some more games. The next 2 games that are really coming out for it aren't exclusive to Switch 2, but they're going to have Switch 2 editions, and they're going to be, obviously the best way to play them, and that's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is supposed to come out this year, and I'm excited to hear more about that and hopefully get a release date. I don't think there's a release date for it. I could be wrong. Maybe there is already. But I know it's supposed to be sometime this year. And Pokemon Legends ZA. Obviously, I'm a gigantic Pokemon fan, so definitely excited for that.
Makes sense.
I want to see some of these new Mega Pokemon. They're bringing that mechanic back into the game. They showed off only one new one in the most recent trailer, and it was Dragonite, which a lot of people have been really wanting. But the design was a letdown. Not gonna lie, it was pretty uninspired and kind of lame. And that's kind of been the trend with Pokemon lately. Even the recent games and stuff have been all kind of a letdown and lame. So I'm really hoping that this is not, because eventually I'm gonna have to stop buying what they're feeding me if they keep feeding me crap. And so I'm really hoping it's not gonna be like that. The first Pokemon Legends game was like one of the best Pokemon things they've done, and it's just a really fun way to play Pokemon. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I just really hope it doesn't disappoint me, and I hope that we get some really awesome mega designs, especially for like one of the starters of this game is Totodile, and Feraligatr is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. So I hope that Mega Feraligatr is sick, and I'm excited to find that out when we find that out. So
okay, cool.
That's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, so that is all for this episode. If you want more, follow me on social media, All in One Discussion. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. So follow me there, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Sounds good.
All right. Peace.
Later.